Oh, the frozen screen.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Melissa's and my Facebook Live for drjockers.com. How are you doing today, Melissa?
I'm great. We got a pretty sunny day. It's chilly in Georgia. We had fall. I think we're having like every season in 1 week, which we can do in Georgia, summer to winter. So everybody jokes about that, but it's kind of true this week. We had a 30-degree morning and we had an 85-degree afternoon. So you never know, but it's pretty today. So I tried to sit up here by the window.
Wow, that's so nice. So you said on Monday, you texted me and said you woke up to 34-degree temperature.
Yeah. Yeah, it was cold. It was about 36. My boys were trying to get the ice off the windshields.
Unbelievable. Yeah, it was funny. I was in Maine and it was not that cold that morning, but my daughter was in Massachusetts with her dad and she said they were scraping the windows. So I don't know what happened in Maine. It's further north. Warmer. I wasn't complaining. So anyways, I hope that some of you will join us today and feel free to pipe in and let us know if you have any questions. But yeah, today Melissa and I will be talking about 12 different immune boosters. So we're coming up on, what's known as flu season and cold season. The temperatures drop a little bit as we were just talking about. And then the next thing you know, germs are everywhere. My daughter's in college for the first semester this year. And, last week she was texting me, Mom, you need to bring me some immune boosters. I'm surrounded by germs. I'm freaking out. So anyways, obviously there's some things that we could do to prevent spreading germs, on our hands and things like that. But we're going to talk about how to boost your immune system from the inside out.
Yes. And it's important to start it before you get sick. A lot of people wait until they get sick to start taking things to help, but they need to start before they get sick, really boost up your immune system as much as possible. Your immune system it defends your body from foreign invaders. So any kind of pathogens like bacteria and viruses. So, there's two types of immunity. I don't know if most people know this or not, but innate is what you're born with at birth. It's your body's first defense. It's always present. It responds rapidly. And then there's your acquired immune system, and that depends on your external environment. It still has a delayed response. And it develops when your body's exposed to pathogens. So you hear about building up your immunity after you've been exposed to something. That's more of the acquired or adaptive immunity.
Absolutely.
So if you want to know if your immune system is weak, there's various signs. Fatigue is one. Allergies, frequent colds, obviously, or the flu or fevers. If you're having a hard time recovering after exercise, that can be a sign that your immune system is low. High blood pressure, trouble waking up in the morning, or just trouble sleeping, constipation, food sensitivities. And another thing is skin conditions. Our immune system, you can tell if your immune system is weak when you have a lot of different skin conditions. I'm always, whenever somebody comes to me with skin issues, I'll look at food sensitivities and their immune system, because both of those could be related to the skin issues.
Absolutely. Our skin is this sort of outward sign, and people don't really connect that that it's a symbol of what's going on the inside. They just think
absolutely.
Oh, you might be irritated by something that it was in contact with, and oftentimes it's our body telling us what's going on from the inside out.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. So we have a few people saying good morning to us. Good morning, Debbie, Sims, I'm sorry. And we also have another Melissa from Georgia.
Hi, Melissa.
So now we have two Melissas from Georgia. Great. Well, thanks for sharing that with us, Melissa. And now I want to talk about just different why our immune system is off balance and what actually does this mean. So our immune system is basically responsible for keeping our body well, to keep pathogens, to keep viruses, parasites, things like that, to protect our body from these invasions. And basically, when we have a poor immune balance, it's a symbol of there's dysregulation of our immune system. And what this is also referred to is autoimmunity. So instead of our body fighting off things like pathogens and viruses and things like that I just mentioned, our body mistakes these things, or mistakes our own tissues as these types of pathogens. And so we now think like, oh, there's a foreign invader, but oh, really? It's just my thyroid gland or my pancreas or my linings of my joint. So those are symbols of autoimmune issues, and our body sort of not recognizing our own body tissues and thinking that they are some sort of foreign invaders.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I recognize this name, Mariana Ardeline. I think is that Dr. Jocker's client. I recognize her name. So good morning, Mariana. And then we have Victoria Ann is from Maine. Good morning. Thank you for joining us. So now we're going to get into the nitty gritty of like what causes poor immune function in the first place.
And you all could probably guess what I'm going to recommend first. And it's always sugar. Sugar just drives up inflammation. It's the cause of a lot of compromised immune systems. So it's really important to limit your sugar and carb intake, especially if you are sick. Really need to be strong with the no sugar. White blood cells require vitamin C to perform certain functions. And what happens is vitamin C and sugar have similar structure, and they compete for entrance into the cells. Well, glucose often gains priority over vitamin C, and so that can hinder our immune function. And then, of course, excess sugar will feed underlying infections like candida. It depletes your critical nutrients like vitamin C, glutathione, and zinc. Glutathione is actually our master antioxidant, so critical. So more reasons not to eat your sugar.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. More than one, right?
Right.
Yeah, awesome. And now, Melissa, tell us a little bit about sleep and immunity.
Well, sleep is critical. Danielle and I were actually talking before we got on about the importance of sleep. And I always tell my clients, sleep and stress and nutrition, I see them to be equally important when I'm working with people who are struggling with a health condition. So consistently getting poor sleep, that can upregulate inflammation, poor blood sugar balance. We talked about that last week some with inflammation and blood sugar balances, but it causes a heightened stress response. So that with your elevated cortisol will inhibit your immune function. So, make sleep a priority. Try to get in bed by 10 to 2 are critical hours for sleep, and try to get 6 to 8 hours. I really, I know we're all different, but a lot of people, I've heard experts talk about this. They'll think that, oh, I'm fine on 5 hours, but they say it catches up with you. You may be fine for the short term, but it's the long-term chronic sleep deprivation that can catch up with you and cause more issues. So really important to get your sleep and make it a priority.
Yeah, I like what you said about getting into bed. The most important sleep is between 10 and 2. I think I've heard that somewhere around midnight, something about our circadian clock, but somewhere around midnight is the time where our cortisol is sort of like it should be at its lowest. And that sort of like helps reset us for the next day. So I do agree with Melissa about trying to get, enough sleep, particularly those hours. Very important. So thanks for sharing, Melissa. We have a comment here from Kimberly Joe. Strong immune system, is greater than the flu shot. I thought she said equals flu shot. I was going to argue that point. But yes, you are absolutely right, Kimberly Joe. Getting a strong immune system is much better than doing a flu shot. And we could probably have a whole little talk about, why not to get a flu shot. But I just wanted to bring that up. So the next thing I'm going to talk about is drinking unfiltered water. And also, proper hydration and how dehydration can lead to immune imbalances. Proper water is so important. I see a lot of people drinking bottled water. I just looked outside this morning because I brought my recycling out. My neighbors, they buy bottled water, and I understand that to a certain point because the city that we live in has fluoridated water. And as soon as I moved in, I bought myself a really expensive, reverse osmosis water system, because getting things out like chlorine and fluoride is and other heavy metals are very, very important to your drinking water. You know, if you think like you're cooking in your water, you're drinking your water, you're bathing in your water, you know, even the skin is the biggest organ in our body, and it absorbs so much of what we put on it, including the water in our shower. And sometimes people don't think, so I have a water system on my sink in my kitchen for cooking. And then I have another whole house filter that doesn't take out the fluoride, but it takes out the chlorine, because I swear I was getting high in my shower from the chlorine that was in the water. Like, I mean, I'd walk in there when my girls were in the shower, and, you know, you see that big whole like steam and cloud of water, and within it is chlorine. And, you know, to breathe that in can be really dangerous over time. So drinking clean water is really important. Staying hydrated is really important. And, you know, one of Dr. Jocker's favorite way to stay hydrated is drinking lemon water. You know, it really helps us stay hydrated, especially first thing in the morning. Putting a little pink Himalayan salt in your water, all that is really important for trying to stay hydrated and keep the immune system functioning properly. And the next thing I want to mention is the amount of time we spend indoors and not enough outside time. So, you know, inside time, we have stale air. I mean, unless you have a ton of plants, which I try to have a ton of plants in my house to give that, you know, extra clean oxygen. But most importantly, the danger of staying inside has to do with the lack of sunlight that we are exposed to. You know, they talk about getting that sunlight first thing in the morning. Take a 10-minute walk, get outside, enjoy. You know, sometimes I'll go and check my email on my front porch first thing in the morning just to get that morning sunshine. It's like, it makes me happy. Supposedly it helps really reset the circadian rhythm. So things like natural sunlight are very important. When we're inside, we're exposed to artificial light, and that can really screw up our circadian clock as well. Never mind the vitamin D that helps, and we'll talk a little bit more about vitamin D soon. So now we're going to get into the 12 ways on how to boost the immune system and what we can do this season to stay the healthiest we can.
Yeah, and vitamin D would be the first one we're going to talk about. It's actually a hormone in the body, and it's made when you're exposed to the sun. Many people are deficient in vitamin D, and there's been a lot of research over the past few years about the importance of vitamin D in multiple different diseases. So vitamin D enhances your immune response. It is associated with deficiencies are associated with autoimmunity and more susceptibility to infections. Vitamin D modulates both of those types of your immunity that I was talking about, the innate and the adaptive or required. So really important. I'm always asked what level. And we usually recommend 50 to 80 nanograms per milliliter. That seems to be a really good range for people. You don't want to take too much vitamin D. I've seen that with clients. They would come in and their levels would be over 100, and it can be toxic at high levels. So, you know, really important not to overdose on the vitamin D and to get tested. Know what your level is. Most doctors will run a vitamin D test now. So it's very easy to get your vitamin D tested. Another thing I want to point out is if you are supplementing, it's good to take that with food because it's one of your fat soluble vitamins. So taking it on an empty stomach, you wouldn't have the absorption that you will have if you're taking it with food, something with fat in it, which, you know, I'm all about the healthy fats. So every meal you should have a healthy fat. So you can take vitamin D first thing in the morning with your smoothie or your eggs, some avocado, but important to have it with your food.
Yeah, Melissa, I always recommend our vitamin D3 K2 that's suspended in the MCT oil. Either that or I'll buy one that's suspended in olive oil. And this way, you know, you've got the built-in fat for absorption right then.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So Van Oliveros Zambrano is asking, is a strong immune system also one of the causes of autoimmune disease? So I would say a strong immune system protects us from autoimmune disease. Wouldn't you agree, Melissa?
Yes, definitely.
And that was one of the things I mentioned in the beginning of this talk. So maybe if you didn't catch it, you can go back and check it out, Van. So the second thing we're going to talk about is vitamin C and its importance in immunity. So vitamin C is interesting. Humans are the only animals who actually can't produce endogenous vitamin C. So we need to get vitamin C from our diet or from supplements. We need vitamin C to, again, fight off pathogens. It's one of our biggest antioxidants. It helps control inflammation. And so, you know, my favorite way to get it is through vegetables and fruits, but you can also, you know, supplement in it with it. We have Super C on our website, and I definitely think vitamin C is one of those supplements that that most people can benefit from because it helps with so many things, you know, like inflammation, like, you know, capturing free radicals, like helping with our adrenal system. So all of those are really, really important. I've been reading recently that it even helps with addicts, help overcome addictions at like really high doses. So we're talking really high doses, like, you know, 40 or 50 grams a day. But I found that yesterday, actually, I was reading about it in an article that I came across, and I just thought that was pretty amazing. Something so natural can help, like, and this was like opiate addiction, overcoming opiate addiction. So I thought that was pretty cool. Okay, Melissa, go ahead and tell us about beta-glucan and olive leaf.
Okay, beta-glucan, a lot of people don't know about that, but it's amazing for your immune system. It actually binds to white blood cells. It improves their immune coordination. And I always talk about white blood cells being the soldiers in your immune system. So important marker of how your immune system is functioning, you know, having that test done. Beta-glucan compounds, they're found naturally in things like mushrooms, certain algae. So, but we also have a supplement of beta-glucan. Another thing, olive leaf, which is actually comes from the olive tree. So another reason to love olives other than their healthy fat. But olive leaf is a herb. It's antiviral, antifungal, antibacterial. So it supports your immune system by boosting your white blood cells' ability to destroy microbes. And the supplement I was mentioning, it's called ImmunoCharge, and I actually take that myself. I take it first thing in the morning, especially during this season. I have 4 kids in public school, so they're being exposed to all sorts of things, and mom's got to stay healthy. So it's got vitamin C, beta-glucan, and the olive leaf extract. So excellent supplement if you want to check that one out on our store.
Yeah, that is a good one. I haven't taken it yet. For years, I've been using colloidal silver, and I don't use it as a prophylactic unless I'm going on an airplane. But I use it when I'm exposed to someone who had the flu or has a cold, or if I'm feeling something come on. And let me tell you, I can count over the past 12 years that I've been using it, I've probably only had like 6 colds and 1 time the flu. So yeah, there are a lot of different things out there that could really help boost our immune system. And I'm glad to know you've had good luck with that ImmunoCharge. I was thinking about getting that for my daughter while she's in college.
That'd be good.
So the next one I want to mention is zinc. And zinc is a really good stabilizer of our immune system. It can help if it's overactive. It can help if it's underactive. It helps inhibit through different enzyme function. It helps inhibit the replication of viruses so that, you know, if we're exposed to a virus, it doesn't have this sort of like snowball effect and end up, you know, regenerating itself within our body enough to make us sick. One of its biggest enzyme functions has to do with superoxide dismutase, which is really powerful in helping us protect our own DNA. Also, it helps prevent the, you know, viruses and the bacteria and the parasites from being able to survive. So yes, this is a real big one. You know, when people think zinc, people think immunity, and there's a big reason. I think there's like over 100 different functions of zinc. And when I was in grad school, the professor that I worked with, this was her her big one was zinc. She did her PhD on zinc, and it's so interesting knowing what I know now about zinc. And that it's really poorly absorbed through plant sources. I look back and I think, like, interesting, she was a vegetarian, and I don't think she spoke that much of its absorption and through plants, because, you know, if you look at the content of zinc through some plant sources, it looks like it's fairly high. But oxalates and phytates, as you and I both know, bind to zinc and prevent its absorption. So really the best way to get zinc is through meat. And, you know, my girls grew up vegetarian. I just recently, Melissa, I keep meaning to tell you, I want to give you a high five because I'm so excited. My youngest daughter, who's been a hardcore vegetarian her whole life, just last week or a few weeks ago, she started eating fish, and I was like, yay, I'm so excited you're eating fish. And last week she asked me to buy a chicken this week. So I made a chicken, and she had chicken last night for the first time, and I was really, really excited. But yeah, like I do think that both my girls had delayed menses. You know, my oldest didn't get her period till she was 17. And, you know, they're very, very lean. And my youngest just got her period recently at 16. So I do think that zinc is one of those important minerals to make sure we have balanced for healthy maturation, healthy menstrual cycles.
Right.
So let's see, how do you get zinc? What foods? Like I just mentioned, the best are really animal products. You know, whether it's eggs, different cuts of meat. That's the most easily absorbed zinc. Oh, another one that it's highest in is shellfish. Shellfish is like off the chart as far as zinc goes. Okay, so Melissa, tell us a little bit about omega-3 fatty acids.
Well, I love omega-3s. They have numerous health benefits, important for your brain. They build healthy brain tissue, eye health, heart health. They balance your mood. They boost your cognitive function, support your joint health. And one of the most important things is they reduce inflammation. And so again, inflammation causes an overactive immune response. And so by reducing inflammation, you can improve your immune system. One of my favorites is Pro Omega CRP. And I really like that one. It's by Nordic Naturals. It has a purified omega-3. And it also has glutathione, that master antioxidant I was talking about earlier, and curcumin. And curcumin is one of the most studied compounds. It's actually in turmeric. So some people get confused, curcumin versus turmeric, but curcumin is in turmeric. So you're covered either way if you get turmeric. But it's a powerful anti-inflammatory. And, you know, my husband has had joint issues ever since he played high school football. Really, he got hurt then. And I finally converted him to turmeric because he was taking, you know, like Advil and things. And I was like, that's killing your gut. And he finally was like, okay, maybe she's right. You know, husbands don't believe us. And so he started taking curcumin, and it's really made such a difference for him. So he is a true believer. And so I just love that compound. It's an antioxidant. It's an immune booster. So Pro Omega CRP, you kind of get a lot of different things in one. So I usually, almost every client, I recommend that supplement.
Ditto, Melissa. It's probably my absolute favorite. It's our more expensive supplement, but it's entirely worth it.
Well, it's because you get multiple things in one, though. Kind of like the gut healing protein. I have to explain to people, it's not just a protein powder. Yeah. You know, because you get so much more in the one supplement. So
lots of vitamins and minerals in our gut healing protein as well. Yeah, absolutely. So this is glutathione, and as Melissa has said before, this is our master antioxidant. And the reason it's called our master antioxidant is that it's got the power to be able to produce and recycle other antioxidants. So it like donates its electrons to be able to recycle other antioxidants like vitamin C and vitamin E. It's also a super powerful detoxifier. And reduced glutathione or liposomal glutathione is some of the best. And those are the kinds that we have on our website, especially in that Pro Omega CRP, as Melissa was talking about. So yeah, glutathione also helps strengthen our T cells, which are, our immune cells. And again, these things help us fight off things like other pathogens and bacteria and viruses and parasites. So they found that with age, glutathione naturally decreases. So, getting foods that are higher in glutathione or supplementing with it is important as we age. Because again, this is going to help neutralize free radicals, which are really important to help keep our DNA protected, to keep us preventing heart disease, keep that risk at bay. But some of the foods that are high in glutathione are avocados, spinach, asparagus, grass-fed whey protein, and pasture-raised eggs. Oh, turmeric as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, I really love glutathione, and I think it's a really, really important thing to include in our diet on a daily basis if possible. So go ahead, Melissa, and tell us about probiotics.
Well, of course, your gut is critical for your health. I mean, I usually start with the gut for everyone because whatever you've got going on, it probably stems from the gut. Most of our guts are damaged, and the lining of the gut's only one cell thick, and so it's easily porous. If you have any kind of food sensitivities, so there's a lot of other things that can damage your gut. So probiotics are great for re-inoculating your gut. So you've got bad bacteria and good bacteria in your gut. And a lot of times these get out of balance and there's more bad than good. So probiotics help to restore that balance. It inoculates your gut with the good bacteria. And then it also, will help with fighting the bad bacteria. So it's just a great supplement. It's kind of one of those that I recommend for everyone, again, just because I don't think we get enough of the good bacteria. And we're always being exposed to these pathogens in our guts, like that frontline defense is part of our immune system. So to help prevent those harmful pathogens from passing into our bloodstream, probiotics can help build up that good bacteria.
Yeah, absolutely. And then including fermented foods, kombucha, grass-fed yogurt, fermented foods, all those are really good. So we have, let's see, Isabel from Puerto Rico. Dr. Jockers was just in Puerto Rico. I wonder if you saw him. Oh, and we have someone joining us from Pakistan. That's really exciting.
Hi, awesome.
I love that. I love that we touch people all over the world. It's so cool. When I tell people about my job, I'm like, one of the coolest things is that I contact with people all over the world. It's like, that's really, really cool.
Yeah, it is. It's awesome.
Yeah. So the last thing we want to talk about are spirulina and chlorella. And both of these are super nutrient dense algae that are powerful antioxidants. They help balance our gut bacteria. They help control inflammation. They also help decrease allergic response to things. So, and they're super loaded in minerals and vitamins. I think there's like 8 different minerals and 16 different vitamins in spirulina and chlorella. So they really help strengthen our immune system by giving us these nutrients that help support our immune system as well. So I think I don't really have anything to add, Melissa. I think we covered it all. What do you think? Do you have anything to add?
No, we did cover a lot of different things, and we're not saying do them all, but you could pick a few to try. You can boost your vitamin C easily with the lemon water Danielle was talking about, or your citrus fruits. Grapefruit's great. So, but try to incorporate a couple just to try to stay as healthy as possible during this cold and flu season that is coming up, as the weather gets colder, and we wish you all good health.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll be providing a link on our on this Facebook Live to the article that corresponds to what Melissa and I have been talking about. So enjoy your Wednesday, everybody, and thanks again for joining us. Have a great day.
Bye, guys.
Bye, Melissa.